And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
Maroon 5, Meghan Trainor, Kesha, Grammys. Meet the artist-producer with that platinum touch. Judging underway on the Indaba Mix Contest Blackbird Live. Get yourself a career right now, and we will talk about the defiant ones. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by. I know you're gonna have a good time today. It feels like we haven't been here in a while. Oh, wait
Just
a minute,
July 4th. Yeah, July 4th. And we've been waiting on this guest, so it kind of worked out.
I know,
Right? He had a blessed event that got in the way, but we'll get to that in a second.
Oh no, we can't. Are you talking about my blessed event?
No, different blessed event.
Good.
Our guest blessed event.
Okay. Oh yeah,
now
that's
that you're giving the other one away. Shall we get to it?
Please,
Okay,
quickly.
let's
quickly.
do it.
We've already lost half our audience.
Absolutely. Hey guys, back for our weekly audio hang. Hope your 4th was good. For our international family, take any 4th, any month, just turn it into a holiday and take a day off. Just let your boss know Pensado said it's cool. Let's celebrate a 4th. Your likes and subscribes, much appreciated. Also appreciated the best partners anywhere. They would be the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, DTS, Lander, Recording Connection, Fab Factory, Isotope, and Studio 202 DC, Ron.
No, wait a minute. Ronald.
Okay, we'll start doing that from this point on. July 19th is the day we announced the winner of the Pensado Indaba Mix Contest. You got all those mixes. There's a bunch of finalists. What do you think?
I think this could be the best year yet.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that's big.
I think so.
That's big.
I'm feeling a little more passion, a little more feeling, a little more vibe. People are trying to impress me, which I like.
Oh, good. Well, you challenged them a lot to do that, and I think Indaba picked a really good track for this. You think?
I think. Well, yeah, they always do, in the sense that that they pick things that make it easy to choose the people with the skill. But this one seems to be a favorite all the way around.
Oh, good.
With me too.
So next week we announce that, boy. Tune in for that one. You want a happening career? I mean, are you serious about it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. I think you should consider the live audio space. There's lots of jobs. It's a growth area. There's good pay. It's really exciting. And there is absolutely no better place to learn it than the Blackbird Academy. Trust me when I tell you that. They're enrolling right now for their October class, for their live class. You go to Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com. You can see it right here below me. Go there ASAP for info. Tell them Pensado sent you. Look, you hear us talk about Blackbird all the time. We'll tell you again. One, it's an amazing school. The number 2 ranked school this year in a very prestigious listing. It's founded by a live audio genius. He sold his business in live early on in his career. He continued to go out and do live mixing. John McBride is alive.
Where else can you go to a school where the owner is still going on tour?
Exactly, and you may have a chance.
He schleps analog gear like crazy.
Like literally, it's unbelievable.
It's
and a more important, and as an important thing, a placement service that absolutely delivers. We hear all the time from people who go to Blackbird and end up in really good jobs. Vets and international folks, they can accommodate you as well. And vets, we thank you for your service. Do not miss this opportunity. Go to Karma, again, Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com. That's your first step. We want you to do it. We think it'd be good for you.
A lot of what I learned, because I didn't go to school, and a lot of what I learned about the jargon and how things are set up that helped me get my mixing career going quicker was through the live space.
Now, that's an additional thing. So exposure
to the same thing.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. So exposure to the live side helped your studio side.
100%.
Wow.
100%.
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
There you go. Heard it from the master. Now, let's meet the hanging Hungarian who hand climbs for a hand roll. His mama named him Django.
Chung, I'm going to stop you. That was amazing.
Was that good?
That was amazing.
Because I was sweating this morning.
Can you do it again?
If he rolls back the teleprompter. Chongor, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
The reason I alluded to that is Chongor was in a climbing contest this weekend. He came in 114th out of 400 some odd people, but he did the intermediate, which is pretty tough. So, you know, he's moving up the climbing thing.
Yeah, I hung out with Chango yesterday, and on the news, someone had caught a 600-pound marlin, and he got in his car and he was heading there to eat it.
To eat it sushi. Yeah, man.
So I'm surprised he climbed with all that extra weight.
Yeah,
you know?
Sushi is
it's
just
hard.
It's an endangered species. Couple of things. Well, we got a brand new sponsor. We can't talk about it yet.
Not yet.
There's some news about an award show. Can't talk about that. Okay, all right then.
Call me, I'll tell everybody.
Let's talk about for a second about the Defiant Ones. You watched me watching.
I did. And
right.
It was such an amazing piece. You know, we only watched the first part, but the storytelling, the creativity, and just what they're getting across is amazing.
Here's context for you. It's the story of how Jimmy Iovine, a legendary record guy, and Dr. Dre, two guys that came from racially challenged neighborhoods, both started as recording engineers, stayed together through some amazingly turbulent times that were dangerous, and then became billionaires based on headphones. But the point is not the billionaire money side. The point is vision, tenacity, getting knocked down, getting back up, pivoting when you need, and it's shot in such a way like it's a movie. I've had probably 10 calls from friends that are from your age to my age who call me and go, have you seen this? So I'm just saying, as a good time to get inspired and get a story that really is applicable, because remember on the Jimmy Iovine side, it's not just NWA and Dr. Dre, it's Trent Reznor and it's Gwen Stefani and it's a whole lot of music in a very broad way.
I was blown away by the trailer.
It's amazing.
And I haven't seen it yet.
There's an interview by Pharrell on Beats One, which is amazing. There's another interview by Charlie Rose that's amazing. Dave and I have spent time with Jimmy. We know him pretty well. But
the interview that Jimmy did with Howard Stern is amazing too.
So we're just saying, guys, every now and then something comes along that we think is good food for you. That's one of them. So it's the Defiant Ones on HBO. You can find it online, and it's pretty good. Speaking of Defiant Ones, Defiant One, you and Chongor shot a bunch of ITLs.
We got a little bit behind, right? And I miss doing it. Various reasons and excuses, none of which are true. But anyway, we had a great time. It was a real creative day.
Kind of like you had pent up something and needed to get it all out.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But I went through a pretty creative period recently, and I saved some of my favorite little things that came along and shared them. And then we've got some surprise guests in an ITL that are going to impart some information I think is germane to the world we live in now.
Why don't you introduce this one?
It's called Clickbait.
Clickbait. Let's roll it.
Okay, don't let the title fool you. This is a pretty cool thing. A resource that we sometimes forget about is a button on some of the plugins that allows you to hear what that particular plugin is doing. An example, this declicker plugin. I had this sound that was given to me. I really fell in love with it. Okay, let me do something real quick here. Okay, so I started thinking, man, what if I pan that kind of clave clicking sound? And by the way, I think it's a little loud in this mix. So what I did was I put a declicker on it. That's cool, huh? So then I'm thinking, man, what if I took the same declicker and just only left the click? So now this is what we've got. Okay, because I'm telling it, just show me what you're doing. So down here I've got the clicker on the sound, taking the sound out, the click sound out. Here I've got the clicker on the sound, but I'm only listening to the difference, which is the clicker itself. So now I reprinted it here. I reprinted it here because I wanted to pan it. so check this out. So now here's putting it back into this one where the clicker's been taken out. Here's the whole thing. Is it going to sell more records? Nah. Is it a lot of fun? Absolutely. Is it something that you can do? Yeah, just think about ways to take this difference knob. It's called different things in different plugins. A while back we showed you something with, I think Leandro did it with Piano Attack. But think of ways to make everything unique and everything an experience. So number 3 shocked you. All right.
He's touched Jason Derulo, Meghan Trainor, Fantagram, Kesha. He's an artist, a writer, a producer. He has cool-ass hair and a brand new child. Please welcome to the place, the one, the only Ricky Reed.
How you doing, man? Cheers. Good. Thanks for having me.
Let me speak about my partner for a minute. When we had a chance at you, he had a way overt reaction that almost got emotional.
Wow.
Like, I mean, talk about a Ricky Reed fan. We
Tears.
both are.
Tears?
Yeah.
Well, misting. Definitely got to miss.
A bit of leakage.
Exactly.
A little bit of leakage.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome. We apologize right off the bat.
Oh, no, it's great. It's great to be here.
First of all, what's fascinating is, are you doing records that fit your taste skill? Because you have a pretty wide range of things that you do in terms of artistry, and you're an artist. So
Right.
is it just people calling, or are you drawn to certain kinds of things?
It's definitely a little of both.
Okay.
I mean, there's like music that we chase down.
Yeah.
There's some music that walks in through the front door, and then there's also people, just fascinating people, or maybe the records aren't even right yet.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that sounds like they've figured it out, but just meet somebody and say, I just want to be
dig
around you
this.
more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're interesting, you have a perspective, and we can get the music there. But let's hang. You know?
You know what? I want to ask you both something. We had the chance to interview Maroon 5 for our 300th episode, or around there. It was kind of Maroon 3. Adam wasn't there, and Noah Passavoy was there,
Okay.
Who was incredible. And I think I felt that way about those guys. They just were sort of super cool and open, and the success they didn't wear that on their sleeve. They just were open to new music, and we were influenced by Stevie, and now we did here, and now we're looking for outside contribution. Are they an example of kind of interesting people type? Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, those guys were great to work with. I mean, talk about a long day of geeking out about guitar pedals and gear with those guys, and it ran the gamut. But I mean, also, people that I'm from California. I'm a real true blue West Coaster, but people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, from different walks of life, people that have experienced really different kinds of things from me, just growing up culturally, whatever it is. So, I always say that I'm lucky that music is a medium that I'm fluent in, but I really feel like it brings me to people, and the people is kind of the reason that I really love doing this job.
I noticed that you like to executive produce a lot of the projects you do. For our audience, can you explain what that is, and why would you want to do that? Because
Control. No.
Right. Well, I mean, look, it's different for every album.
Yeah.
Just like your relationship with every artist, as you know, is different. For me, it can often sometimes it feels like a mentorship, kind of like guiding an artist through the process of what we hope will be the album that takes the next step. Sometimes it is literally touching every song. Like maybe I'll produce 6 or 8 songs on the record, but the rest of them I'll shoot notes to whoever the producers or mixers are of those, with no, extra credit or publishing
Sure.
or anything desired, but just to make sure that the product feels good top to bottom.
Yep.
But a lot of times the artist doesn't need that, and they just need that moral support person. Like, I can't get this mix right. I'm having trouble explaining something, or what is, you know, or a lot of times me sort of helping the artist bring music to the label and say, you need to trust us. This is the right thing. And to really help represent the artist and like form like a strong, you know, we go like sort of hands held to the label a lot, and I'll help protect them.
See,
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did your work on Talk Dirty, the sax part, lead you to your work on 21 Pilots? Was there a connection there because they had the horns? If there wasn't, don't answer the question.
No, well, it's interesting in a way, in the completely indirect way, yeah, because the Talk Dirty song, it started this process for me getting more work that was in that world, like, you know, sort of oddball pop, brassy, literally.
Yeah.
And we felt like, oh no, we're getting to a point where people are all like, can we get a sax song? Can we get a flute song? A trumpet song? So it actually propelled us to say, we need to pivot right now, or this is who I'm gonna be. And I grew up, you know, producing rock records, editing, engineering, mixing, like, you know, bad punk bands in the Bay Area. And I always wanted to sort of like flex those muscles, you know, as I got into this. So coming off of Talk Dirty and that whole era, the pivot that made sense actually turned out to be 21 Pilots.
Oh,
so,
really?
In this strange way.
It connected.
Yeah, sort of
I
the
gotta
ricochet.
tell you, Ride is still one of my favorite songs in the last 5 years. I love that band, and you know, Mike Elizondo's a good friend of Herb's and mine from the show.
Mike's good too.
And you did what, 6 songs on that record, or 8?
Eight songs on that.
Incredible work. I mean, incredible work. But one of the things, just going back to the executive producer side, the corollary to me in television is the showrunner.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they have different assignments. They're head of the writer's room, but they have budget responsibilities, and they have to get the show in on time weekly, and then they have to go back and fight censors or deal with notes and so on and so forth.
True, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember when I got my first opportunity to be an executive producer, I just thought it was super cool to be an executive producer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I did it for no points, and just the idea that somebody trusted you that much.
Right.
What's fascinating to me about guys like yourself is that ability to balance the business perspective and have it still inspire your creativity and not get in the way of it. That's not that easy. You have to kind of be made up a certain way to do that, correct?
Right, and you have to have the right people around you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like that's, you know, as you guys are well aware, you know, putting an album together takes a village.
It's a chore, baby.
You, if you're lucky, you know, there's one bright shining star at the middle of it.
Yeah.
Who everybody trusts, you know, the artist, the songwriter, the visionary, whatever. But it takes a lot of people playing really specific roles. You know, if you're the business manager, you're not making comments on the songs.
That's right.
And if you're the bass player, you're not talking about studio budgets.
That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
But like, you want the bass player to think of a part that maybe the singer wouldn't think of, and you want to make sure everything happens on time. So a lot of it is really like getting the right team around you, and also just keeping good relationships with people, keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody motivated.
And people don't know that each record can push a different side of your executive producer skill set, just like your producer skill set, right? The artist, the studio, the timing, the record, it requires different things. It's not the same thing each time.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten to the place yet, but I have heard this happens where you get those executive producer credits, which are like a political, you know, pat on the back.
Yep.
You know, I haven't. They've all been blood, sweat, and tears earned for me thus far. But that's the funny thing too. A lot of people ask about that. Because that credit does get thrown around for people, you know, not doing anything. That also happens a lot. But,
Yes, it does.
In an era where albums are produced by anywhere from 2 to 25 producers, I like to think that I you know, actually bring some kind of cohesion and coherence to the table when I'm doing that.
You certainly do.
No doubt.
Thanks.
Another thing I noticed about you that I truly, truly admire and wish more people had this, and that's you find a way to get your influences and every musical experience you've ever had into what you do. And to give you an example, you get a little West African music in, you can explain why in a second. You get a little Parliament in everything. You get a little, if you're doing a rock song, you get a little soul in it. If you're doing a soul song, you get a little rock in it.
Right.
And you know how to cross-pollinate everything that you've ever learned and get it into one damn song. and I admire that because I'm a little confused. I won't say you are, but I get a little confused sometimes because my influences want to peak out sometimes at the wrong time, and sometimes they're an asset. You're like that. You've got
I
really
like
Catholic
that.
taste.
It's funny that you describe it that way because when I hear your music, there's always something external that I can think about why I like the record, and there's something that's happening internal that you're touching going, why is my funk button being pushed? I need to identify that. Or like I'm a rock guy, like I love the energy of rock.
Explain the West
African rocking out to Jason Derulo? You know, so
Wow.
Explain the West African thing, because
Sure.
that'll lead us into a neat place.
Oh my gosh, there's just so much to touch on from what you guys said. But yeah, let's start
welcome
there.
to Pensado's Place.
Right. As we were talking about this earlier. I studied with a Ghanaian drum master in college for 2.5 years, 5 semesters. And you know, a fascinating guy. His brother, his name is CK. His brother Alfred teaches at Cal Arts. This is at UC Berkeley where I studied with him. You know, he was the first guy that really taught me how to get inside of a rhythm. You know, simple rhythms. He would say, I'm gonna play 8th note, and I'm just gonna play it. Now I'm gonna play an 8th note with emotion, and he would. Yeah. And you would like somehow, it's like you would feel the subdivisions. You weren't sure what it was, but he could show you how to take the simplest thing and make percussion, you know, chordless, melodyless percussion feel emotional, feel emotive. And when
you do that too.
I mean, try and with a lot more, you know, a lot more tools when you're producing a record or whatever it is. But at the same time, as I'm studying with him, I'm falling in love with, as you said, like, other West African music, Afrobeat, Fela Kuti, and that kind of stuff. But also, you know, Parliament and all that kind of stuff. So you have this, you have this situation where like in drums and in bass and in a rhythm section, like you can be more emotional and tell more of a story. And you see that in the rock world too. You see it with guys like John Bonham. You see it with Ringo, where like it's just from rhythm, they're bringing something out of you. And I try to do that on every song, regardless of genre, and I think you can, you know?
Yeah, well, you're doing it.
Well, I'll tell you something, this is a black thing. So as you were describing it, you were moving with like NAACP authenticity. I know. He kind of had a little thing on it.
I'm with you, my brother.
I know, my brother. Right on. So there was that. I remember my early record career.
I noticed that too.
My hero is interesting because it's also, it's one of Jimmy Iovian's mentors. I patterned a lot of what I wanted to do after David Geffen. That sheer force of will. So I hung out at his record company. Right. And at the time, I ran into Tommy Lee. And because I worked at a black record company, he was like on me because he wanted to drum on black records. He was like, man, because I get something else from that. And just his passion about it is similar to, he understood there was a nuance on it. The other thing that's interesting about what you said, we had a guest named Terrace Martin on, right?
Oh, right.
And Quincy had taken Terrence to meet with Clifford Terry when he was, or Clark Terry, and he was dying. And Terrence plays trumpet, and he played it, and he same thing about your 8th notes. He said, now that's really cool because you're playing it accurately, but these notes have syllables, and in those syllables are emotion, so let me show you how to make each note speak. And put a thing, exactly. And that's how Dave and I were at the table. We were like, whoa. But you just described the same thing about the drum and the 8th note.
Right.
Which is like there's stuff in there, and you got to know how to get to it.
Right.
And I think those are the things that get to us as listeners that we don't know, but we're just crazed about this music. We don't understand why.
And I'll go a step
Correct.
further.
Right, exactly.
Let me go to my pet peeve area. You can't steal it. You can't get it. You can only borrow it by listening to the great masters.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
if you don't listen to George Clinton or some Parliament or Bootsy or something, you're not going to be able to play the bass lines he plays.
And
You absorb it, you borrow it, and it comes back out your pores.
It does. That's true.
And
you never can tear the roof off the motherfucker unless you listen to
you
that.
complain about my HR skills, dude. You're good.
That's the
I'm
thing.
so proud
Thank
of
you.
you.
I've learned from you.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a line in the Parliament song. See,
that's
that was
right.
my reference.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the lesson that Ricky's imparting for you guys is that you can go deeper. And you want to study people and go deeper. Like you think you have it, and there's another layer or two to go, and you're constantly discovering when you go down. I mean, look at his success. I think the amazing thing about you is, one, the breadth, but two, you're also an artist, right? And does that inform your producing and writing? Do they go hand in hand? Is it helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started trying to write and produce for other artists, I was sort of stepping outside of my artist brain. You know, this is probably around 2010, and I'm doing these trips to LA in a rental car, and I come down and be like, okay, I'm gonna try to write a Kelly Clarkson song. I think it should sound like this. Try to write a Katy Perry song. I think it should sound like this. I think the drums should sound like that. I think, you know, and it really wasn't until I started letting my own tastes, like that feeling that I know a lot of people relate to, like, I know this is dope. I don't know if anybody else is gonna fuck with this, but I know this is dope. As soon as I started letting that feeling be the guiding light, you know, I mean, Talk Dirty came from that, because I was like, here's this crazy beat, like, I know this is dope. I've never heard anything like it, and just sort of, you know, send it off, message in a bottle, and once, you know, and I'm really lucky that was my first success. It set a precedent that I didn't get lucky with one of these, like, kind of fake half-assed songs and then think that that's the road for me.
It blew the doors open for you, so now you have latitude.
Right. And to know that I always need to try to lob the ball out in front of myself with every production, you know?
Maybe this is a good sign, maybe not. It'll be my last reference in the show. But in the Defiant Ones, there's a point where Jimmy is talking to Pharrell in this interview, and he was talking about all the people that he got behind because they were not afraid to challenge it, and that they knew no's were coming. He wanted to get involved with people who knew that what they were doing would get no's, because you get a lot of no's when you're on the edge. But you just got to go there. So he looked for the no people.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then, and he said, you know, I mean, there's so many different things that he said that were moving forward that are similar to kind of your own personal approach, which I think is a blueprint for people who push the envelope. You know what I mean? I mean, we experienced that a little bit with the show. Nobody ever thought, when we were talking about doing this audio show on Audio Engineers, they were like, oh, poor Dave and Herb. It's just, they're going to be an old folks home
together. They got the whole studio built and everything.
So, Ricky, how have you incorporated ADD in your skill set?
That's a good question.
Thought I was being funny, didn't you?
No.
That's why I didn't laugh.
No, it's actually something that my wife and I, we talk about a lot. She has a real good, solid case of ADD. You know, like diagnosed properly. I even said that to an artist I was in the room with the other day. I said, "Do you have ADD?" And he kind of jumped back. He's like, "I've never," almost looking offended. I was like, "No, the most creative and interesting people that I work with all are some degree on the spectrum of this."
You like to change environments a lot.
Right. And are often, you know, very prolific also. For me, I've never been properly sort of diagnosed as such. I don't have the cred, but I will say that that I definitely, if I was only making one kind of record or in one genre, you know, I would definitely get.
You go nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, even now that we're like starting to have our first successes and having like starting to look down the road of like, oh, we could do the second album with this artist. Even that is like, whoa, like this is a big commitment. You know? Like, second album. I haven't thought that far.
That's really good.
How did Bills come out from Lunch Money Lewis? I love that song.
Wow.
I know it's not one of your bigger records, but I love that record.
Me too. That's one of my favorites. That song is like a sort of a lesson in like the LA pop world serendipity, you know, because you got Lunch, who's one of the greatest humans that I've ever met.
Everybody says that. Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing.
We need to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys would love him. Love him. So we were just doing pop writing sessions. I had just met him and thought he was great. We had done a long day doing a song for this artist, Jessie J. And I had that track, this like insane sort of like gospel house, whatever that instrumental was that I had just made, you know, with too much caffeine in my system one random day by myself. And I pulled it out, and I didn't even really know Lunch that well yet. And he was, like I said, he was just a writer at that point, not an artist. Played him the song, and like within about 15 seconds, he was almost asleep on a couch napping, and he just jumped up and he goes, "I got bills," and immediately like we wrote the song in about 2 hours.
Wow.
And the same day, it was myself, Lunch, Jay Cash. There's another brilliant songwriter you guys should have on. And the same day, we were like, do we have CeeLo sing this? Wow. Or we're like, there's nobody who can really sing this song. We didn't even know what to do with it. So Lunch was like, I guess it'll be me. And literally the whole story of Lunch Money Lewis as an artist just came from that song because no one else could sing his songs.
I'll be darned. No joke. Wow.
It went viral. I mean, it was. Remember, we used to talk about it.
Oh yeah. No question.
It was a game changer.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What?
Oh, nothing. No, I
thought I did something wrong.
No. I was curious about and the reason I was waiting is, and this is what's so fun about our job, is as you pull back layers of really talented people, and you see all those different things, because we've seen a number of people who have had whatever kind of condition that they've had and utilized it to stimulate their creativity, you know, and we've seen it from people on the autistic spectrum, people with multiple sclerosis, people with, you know, sight disability, all fighting through because audio is a place that'll be safe and they can go do things, and what is taken away from them comes out in a different way and in a unique way. And it's fascinating to watch creativity be kind of the salve over that stuff. And then
I'm not sure normal people can be creative.
Well, look in the mirror. I mean,
no, that's too dangerous for me. I live in a fantasy world vis-a-vis my looks. I'm not looking at anything.
I thought we had a long conversation about not looking in mirrors anymore.
Exactly.
Hey, man, you had to learn how to collaborate, and I think your pathway to collaboration would be really, really important to our audience that wants to be songwriters, because that's a skill that you can learn a little bit, that you're not born with naturally, and I think it needs to be. We live in a world where there's a lot of collaboration. Are you comfortable sharing your path to getting comfortable collaborating?
Oh yeah. You say that like there was a
felony
backroom
or something.
deals going on.
Did you collaborate with Russians, or I'm not sure what happened?
Exactly.
Well, great songwriters, like I wouldn't say that Diane Warren could be considered anything but one of the greatest ever, but you don't see her collaborate a lot because it's not something some people enjoy. You know, I mean, I can't speak for Diane. She would be great at anything she does, but that was kind of my question.
Right. I mean, it's true. I mean, so I came from the band world, which is interesting. I think in most bands, at least my experience in bands, it's this strange form of collaboration where you have like a bullish lead singer and you have the band, and it's like the singer kind of brings the song in and the band like bangs out their parts, but it's not this kind of situation where two people are sitting down side by side and say, I want to sing this vulnerable lyric. I want to like sing them. I want to work straight from scratch together. And we just met, and what are we gonna do today?
Right.
And you know, my first, probably maybe 2 years of that, of, you know, doing these. So I was, you know, living in San Francisco and taking a rental car down to LA every month, getting whatever sessions I could, whatever meetings I could. And yeah, the first couple years of that is really, really hard. The challenge that you learn, the biggest challenge, once you get comfortable with just the basic sort of human vulnerability part, is how to make each day not feel like a 9 to 5, and how to make every day feel like today could be the day.
Yeah, could be magic.
Could be magic today. Like, if you're writing pop songs for pitch 5 days a week, 7 days a week, it's easy to start to feel the dregs of that.
Yeah.
So my job, not just as a songwriter in those situations, but also now as a producer and with artists, is to try to create an environment on a daily basis where they feel like anything is possible today.
Yep.
You know,
really
anything
wise.
could happen today. We could pull magic out of the air today.
Really wise.
And that's hard to do 7 days a week.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. In my management career, I had an artist who would just go to the studio sort of effortlessly and damn near record a master demo. A lot,
nothing I've ever seen.
A lot turned into his actual record, but I think it was the challenge of it being good enough to be good enough in a day that made him, and also the studio was a safe place, and you know, you could have people there. And I mean, we have an audience full of everything: engineers, producers, songwriters, and so forth. So it's fun to have somebody who does all that. In your writing process, how do you start? Do you start on a certain instrument? Is there a component of the song, melody, beat, or whatever? What's your way?
I mean, yeah, like you probably get this a lot. It's, you know, it is different every time, whether it's guitar, keys, a drum beat, song concept. But and sometimes it'll take me a few hours, you know, while like the collaborator or artist is kind of sitting around trying to find whatever the element is, like something that kind of like flips this little switch in my brain. Like this chord progression is a little bit different from anything that I've done before, or like the swing in this like drum loop is odd, or I've never heard a song like written about that before. Just like that little very small stroke of newness. And that's also kind of why I have a studio full of like oddities and strange toys, which I can sort of introduce a bit of randomness into my process.
Absolutely.
Plug in a strange combination of pedals with an instrument I've never used before, some noise-making thing that I just got off eBay, and just plug it in and just go until something strikes that chord with me, and then loop it and be like, okay, what's the song?
Let's go from there.
Yeah.
What all do you play? Everything?
Guitar, bass, and keys.
Okay.
Little drums.
Got it.
Don't you have a special piano? I read somewhere that you've got a piano from
Yeah.
piano that Tom Petty was using.
Yeah, we have the piano that they sold from Sound City.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Probably, I think it was, I don't know the exact history, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And
yeah.
then actually, the owner of Perfect Circuit Audio here in Burbank, he bought it from them, and he had it in his garage for a couple of years, you know, with plans to fix it up, as we all have to do with things in our garage.
Yeah.
And I actually was looking for like a small Steinway, and saw this listing on eBay for a Steinway from Sound City.
You were like, hello?
Yeah, I got my manager on the phone like,
Move.
let's go. And that changed our studio, because we had, you know, we have a professional space, a lot of incredible gear, but there's something about a Steinway in the studio that changes the whole feeling of it, especially one that has a Heartbreaker sticker slapped on the undercarriage.
Forget about it. Can't slow down. No question.
Yeah.
Chungwar, you got a couple?
We do. This first one's from Sal Amander. What creative process works for you more often than others?
Wait, before you answer that, did you say salamander?
Salamander.
And he broke it up into, okay, because I didn't know if there was a joke.
That's the name.
Sal.
Cat
Amander.
Pillar.
Anyways, what was the question again? Sorry.
What creative to IP freely?
Oh God. Oh God.
That's a joke.
What creative process do you find works more freely, or what creative process do you find works better for you than others?
What creative? Yeah, no, it is.
The ones that work.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
All the ones where I fail, I don't go back to those. And then I kind of stick with the ones that worked before.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever answered a Facebook question.
Yeah.
But do you agree?
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's kind of what we were just talking about. It's different every time, but I do find that, I guess one thing I can add to that is that real early on, I got to figure out the drum pocket. And if I don't figure out the drum pocket on the first day, then I'm in for a world of trouble. Because when people get demo-itis and get used to a version of a song that's like, oh, it's just a piano and vocal demo, we're gonna produce it out. Even if the demo that you leave with that day is stripped down and basic, man, if you don't have those drums, if you don't have a vision for what they might be, sometimes if I can't figure it out, I'll just throw something out at the end of the day to know that we're gonna be able to take the next step on something. So I will say that's an added part of the first steps of the process.
John, give us another.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Okay.
On the East Coast, we use the word pocket a little different than you guys out here. When you say pocket, what is it and how can you get it? And how can you know when you don't have it?
Well, I think...
Are you sliding around 16th notes? Are you laying the 2 and the 4 back? Are you...
Right. Well, first of all, I was going to say, if you don't know if you have the pocket, then you definitely
don't have the pocket.
Yeah,
right.
You ain't got it.
But, I mean, no, well, there's two ways that I use it. I think of it literally in the real traditional sense of, is the 2 and 4 sitting back, what's the swing like? Are you pushing, are you pulling? But also the guys that I work with, and maybe it's because I'm a bad influence, but we also use it somewhat incorrectly as like, what is the drum cadence? What's the drum rhythm? What's the drum feel? Even just the actual pattern.
Yeah.
What's the pattern?
Yeah, we do kind of the same thing. It used to mean something different, but it's evolved in a more general term. But I'm fascinated by pocket and feel, and the rhythm part is just so subtle.
That's where the infinity
nothing that
of
subtle
music
should be
is.
that important. It's crazy. Isn't it?
Go ahead, John.
From Jordan Pollock, what session was the most life-changing for you?
Good question.
Wow. Well, in one sense, you could point to the obvious sessions that sort of form the milestones of your life. The day I made the beat for Talk Dirty, the first session with Tyler and Josh from 21 Pilots, which was Ride actually on our first session.
Wow.
Literally life-changing.
What about the first session where you really felt, wow, I can do this at a high level and compete with everybody else? What was that session?
Right. I wrote a song that was never cut by an artist or with another songwriter who was a beginner. Just like me, we were writing at the foot of his bed in his condo that was being foreclosed in West Hollywood. I was busing to the sessions in his apartment. His name was Ross Golan. He's now he had like several number ones last year. He won BMI Songwriter of the Year. We're still friends, working on all kinds of things.
Great.
We did a song called Dive Bar, which was like this just kind of knuckleheady power pop, like take no guff, just it was kind of a corny record, but it was the first one that I did that I was like, I think this is fucking good.
That's pretty good.
I think we actually wrote something really good.
Exactly.
That I would walk into, A&R's offices and say,
boom, check this out.
check this out.
Absolutely.
Never got cut, didn't make me a penny, but it was the first time I had that feeling as a writer and producer.
And those moments are really important because it opens up the other doors. Yeah. All right, Mr. Pitcher, you ready? You're sweating like you warmed up.
Oh.
Did you do the Homerun Derby last week?
Man, that guy's amazing.
Aaron Judge.
Wow.
Woo, scary. All right, so
I don't even follow baseball, and I like
Mr. Pitcher, here we go with batter's box.
Yeah.
Tee it up and pitch.
I'm prepared to lose. I lose every week.
Well.
Is this a win-lose thing?
Friend. Huh?
How do I win?
Well,
how do I
you
lose?
show up pretty much.
and you'll win. It's kind of like you're an entitled kid. And you just get it because you're on the team.
Right. Just get the trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
The losing trophy will be handed to me.
Exactly.
Okay. What you should do is give like 4-hour answers to each one, and that'll help you win.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Don't
Don't
buy
do
that.
that.
Be here till tomorrow.
Okay. B3.
Ride. Only time I've used it on a recording.
Nice.
Yeah, and masterfully, I might add. 808.
Oh, I mean, honestly, if we're really playing first association, Contact.
Snare.
Krupa, Gene Krupa.
Ooh, sweet.
Not the right answer.
He went. Yeah, but he went there.
Said Shaughnessy.
Oh, okay.
Piano.
Sound City.
Steinway.
Strings.
Contact.
Horns.
I feel like I'm just really throwing myself under the bus.
Chad Blake answered everything sans amp, so there's a precedent for that.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Horns.
Oh, the Parliament Earth Tour. Just listened to that the other
He
day.
made a comeback, however.
Ridiculous.
That's good.
Loops.
Paul's Boutique.
Ooh. Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Reverb.
I'm making one.
Oh, that's a first. We had 2 firsts in this. I don't know if were you done?
I'd like to see the video review of that. I think
I'm going to pull one up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could be
because he
closer.
has a visual win too, which I'll tell you
Right.
about in a second.
Okay. George Clinton or Bootsy Collins?
George.
Lead vocals.
Oh boy. You know, I don't know why. I really don't know why, but Anthony Kiedis, just a picture of him popped into my head.
Oh
Wow.
wow, that's really fascinating.
I think, and it was visualizing
That is a
like
California
"Suck
thing.
My Kiss" music video.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even like the biggest Chili Peppers fan. That's not one of my favorite bands. But when you say lead vocalist, you just think of Kiedis in the desert.
Get away. There.
Right.
I can't get that out of my head. It's just in my
That's just
head. It's like a.
I don't know if I should apologize
I
but
don't quite know how to react
It's
to
the
that.
hookiest
I
thing
almost called
on earth.
911 when you did that. I wasn't sure where that was
I
going.
know. Okay, the standard question now. This takes thought on your part. Excluding hard drives, children, pets, famous pianos. If your studio caught fire, what piece of equipment would you rescue?
Oh, let's see. Just like visualizing what I can carry and what I can. A Music Man 79. Is it Music Man
Stingray?
bass? No, sorry, not Music Man. It's like a 3/4. I don't even know what. Oh, Mustang bass.
Okay.
79 3/4 Mustang bass with flat wounds that have been on it since it probably came out of the factory, and my 50s U47.
You won. Will I ever win one of these? Is there a point in me carrying on? I'm the laughing stock of all my friends.
Well,
Dave, did you win today? No, I didn't win again.
We'll have to stunt cast some interns
Yes.
and have them not have any answers.
He's good, Herb.
Well, not only
I
that,
think
he
that
did
was one of my favorites.
Well, he also did a visual. If you go back and look at when he answered 808,
Yeah.
there was a tortured musical pain thing on his face. It was
When you
hilarious.
review that footage for I think he went out of bounds on. I think it was the B3. He got a little bit out of bounds on that.
But the
so.
ref didn't notice.
Okay, I
So,
know.
so it still counted.
okay.
It counted.
Right. I just didn't want to say Contact when you say 808.
But I tell you what you do want to say.
What?
We want to speak about the wonderful addition to your life named May Reed, who recently came around.
Yes.
Talk about this newborn child.
Wow. Yeah, I had there she is.
There's baby girl. There's baby girl.
Oh boy.
It
As
would be
long as that's up, I'm gonna be looking at it.
Yeah,
That's how it's
exactly.
going.
Exactly.
Hopefully it'll be May Frederick, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Yeah, so she was born on March 17th. And
I'm 18.
and she on St. Patrick's Day, actually. And I will say the first, you feel many things, of course, as a human and as a father and all this and that. But as a musician, the first thing that I really started to notice is my manager would be like, you know, we got so-and-so wants to get it. No.
Yeah.
You know?
Priorities change.
Right. Things that were sort of on the edge.
Yep.
We're like, you know, I should probably do it because so-and-so, because they're friends with, no.
Yep.
Just no.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
give me like the good stuff. Doesn't mean the big stuff, but the stuff that I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do all that. And any other time I want to spend
With your child,
with my kid.
What you got to look forward to is, you know, they say the best day in a boater's life is when he buys a boat and the day he sells it.
Mm-hmm.
The best day in my relationship with my daughter, I think she was like 14, and she came to me and she said, "Daddy, would you be disappointed if I didn't go into music?" I said, "Oh,
Thank you,
Lord."
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you'll get that day to look forward to. That'll be the best day of your life,
Right,
one way or the other.
We have forgotten one other important thing. Let's give a shout out to the lady who did all the work.
Yes,
May
Laura Miller. She is my wife and somebody who I met right before all of this. In fact, the first time that I heard one of my songs on the radio was Talk Dirty.
Wow.
And I was in the Bay Area with her. And we had just started dating, and I was like,
Oh
I was
my
freaking
God.
out. Oh my God, that's my song, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, wait, explain to me how this is your song. She's like, are you singing? No. You're playing sax? No. I kind of the beat and like how it all comes together, like that was like the first time me trying to explain to her what a record producer does, you know, in this day and age. And I still sometimes I can't get the words right.
Lauren May, great job. Welcome here.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite songs ever.
Ricky,
Thank you.
there was a reason that we were excited about having you. There's a reason that Waiting on You made all the sense in the world.
Oh, thank you.
And we have a lot of stuff going on, and we'd love to have you involved. So can I bug your people? So,
Oh, please.
Because Larry and Danielle, they'll kill me. I'll be like, hey, no, he's available. This is a passion thing for him, so I have to come with passion.
Exactly. Use that word.
Yeah, I will. I'll use that
word.
a lot. We are big fans, and we were fans of the music, but I think we're both even bigger fans of the person, man.
Oh,
It's really,
thank you.
Congratulations,
Well
man.
put.
You guys are
Thank
so
you for doing
sentimental.
it. Hey, man, we're emotional.
Appreciate it, man.
Dave, take us home, bud.
Whew, man, where do I start? You know, it's always good when the people you admire turn out to be worth admiring, and this this happens a lot to us, doesn't it, Herb? Today's a great example of that.
Absolutely.
I'm just amazed at how, I've said this to you guys before, you got to have some life experiences. You got to go through a lot of different little journeys and like a rat in a maze, quite a few dead ends, and then you'll find an opportunity to use all that stuff. And I think Ricky would agree that all the different musical paths he's been down, we're hearing those in all the songs that we're hearing from him now. And without that, he would just be a typist that couldn't write a novel. So check it out. We'll see you next time.
See you.